Grazie Heide, and grazie Cécile, and thanks to all of you. I want to take you through a fast ride of the last 17 years, because that's what happened. This is, we go back. So this is how we got together why? Oh, okay. We got together in 2000, 2004 when we started, when our association had two major events to present Maria Sgimbuta's work to congresses and additional research on goddess. But our turning point was 2004 when we got together, and 2005 when I attended the Austin Congress. And that was really a big change. We have, wow. This is bizarre. Okay, stay here for a second. This is when we really made things happen. 2009, we invited, through Jen, through the help and the guidance of Genevieve Vaughan, we invited Jen, we invited Heide, and we invited also together with Veronica Benholt-Thompson, and this was the breakthrough when we introduced the modern matriarchal studies, gift economy, as well as subsistence perspective in Italy. And it was really breakthrough. We had more than 200 women attending, and we had the support of the local province and the municipality, which was impressive, truly impressive. Then, together, you see some pictures. The same time, we helped other cities, Milano and Rome. So we did like a tour. We went on a tour together. The title was back then, Matriarchy, Utopia or Utopia, the good place. And we will talk some more about the good place today. From no place to good place. It was that title at that time, and we continue this. Then we went also to Rome in 2010, and I'm not touching. It's some energy here. And in 2011, we organized another event where we introduced more about the Moso with the presence of Francesca Rosati Freeman, and also we introduced some documentary from Usha Madeschi about the Casi. So the same year we attended the St. Gallen Conference. As I just said, some of us took on the translation of the remarkable book. Not only the translation, but also we went on presenting the book on matriarchal society, and then 2014 was a very rich year. We did something very interesting. Heide came back with Cécile. Heide spoke about matriarchal politics, and obviously we took the opportunity. I can't believe it. We took the opportunity to also promote the book, but the same year we also showed the documentary on Moso by Francesca. But this is the City Hall, but what I want to say, and then I stop, is that we did a workshop on matriarchal politics for a group of women. And that really made a change in our attitude. We are not scholars, we research, we promote these studies, but also we are activists. And we, since then, have tried to promote more in different ways. We have opened a blog on matriarchal studies, obviously in Italian, and we have started a summer women's camp in 2015. Many is still ongoing. Now other women are organizing it. The name of the camp is Campeggia Matriarcale, because the themes are always filtered or discussed in a matriarchal context, values context. In 2019, we invited one woman leader from Rojava to discuss their genealogy and modern matriarchal studies. So this is the approach, the first approach we had in Italy with Rojava leaders to discuss and compare the two theories and see the common points. Again, more translation. We help translating other writings from Heide, and we published on the Armonie Association book. So this is our link to the blog for those who can read Italian. And I want to conclude that our commitment continues in spreading modern matriarchal studies. We want to support Academia Heide, Cecile, because we think that modern matriarchal studies are a sort of therapy of the imaginary, a toolkit to live our present and also change our future. Since we do not rely very much on technology, we made a film so that you can hear my two companions, Luisa and Nicoletta, speak. And then I will shortly conclude our section of Le Matriarcali.
I am Nicoletta Cocchi of the Italian collective Le Matriarcali. I encountered the modern matriarchal studies in 2004, at a time when I wondered about my relationship with the labor market, trying to find the conceptual and material means to face the lack of meaning in my jobs. The more I entered the world of work, the more I felt the pain induced by role models, mechanism, expectation, nonsense. It was not perfectly clear to me how work was a source of social unhappiness in a neoliberal system, but for women even more so. Broadly speaking, I felt the ancestral awareness that we, the women, live in the asymmetric space of another economy of meaning, relationship and time. At that time, I was interested in critical theories of post-Fordism and in the various epistemologies advocated by feminist economics. All these theories allowed me to see the logical structural problematic onto which our society are based, but it was as if they would not go beyond the forma mentis of the system that criticized. I felt the need for a different lens to read reality in a more relevant and transformative way and intuitive thoughts. A social agreement that would enshrine our priorities, a social pact among women, real and not only symbolic, in short, a different grammar of living. Modern matriarchal studies provided me with that lens. But not only that, they helped me to rid myself of the full subjectivity of historical criteria and their repetitive canons, stimulating a new way of thinking and imagining the world. Now I had confirmation that women had created civilization prior to patriarchal ones in the past. They were not domain-based society, as historians wanted us to believe, but social organization oriented to feminine principles and partnership, developed in a large variety of structures and relationships, maintained intentionally through precise social technique, as you, Heide, write. In this specific social form, women, united in a social pact, have outlined parental structures, economic distribution models, and decision-making procedures, as well as religious imagery, cosmologies, and ontologies. There was enough to rethink community and human coexistence. Not only did those enterprises take places over a long time in a human culture history, but some of them are still existing in different parts of the world. A fundamental tussle, the cornerstone of human history, was finally set in place. Matriarchy, alias mater arche, that is to say, in the beginning there were the mothers and not the mother's dominion. Heide gave me the big, creative and transformative answer that I was looking for in the midst of thousand contradictions of my life. It was not an utopia, but an utopia, a good place which had existed, a good place that asked to be lived again, with the due difference in time and condition. Another world was possible. This is the imagination politics you delivered to me, you delivered to us, Heide. Furthermore, your invitation to look back to a pre-patriarchal time and to analyze the emergence of social patriarchal models in human cultural history, the powerful and totally original work that you have been furthering, is becoming for me ever more urgent today. It helps us to reconnect the threads and to weave new warps. Because it's more and more evident that the thousand ways of male dominance, oppression, abuse and violence, visible and invisible, that are being imposed today with extreme virulence, also through the high-tech mega machine, which is becoming increasingly molecular and invasive, have their roots in the historical make project. The project of a male community that from the beginning has set itself as architect of a new creation, first of the nature and now of every living being. But we are aware there is not a unique model of civilization, and our world was not a patriarchal one originally. We are aware that there are many histories, each of which has left traces, permanences. All these different histories stimulated me to investigate the folds of the great history, searching for what the official narrative has spelled. It's a work in progress, a work that concerns the decolonization of my life too. I share it with other women, spreading through talks, meetings, seminars, writings and worship, and not last, through the translation of your books into Italian, a privilege I feel honored to have. All this work feeds on spiritual practices too. I like to call them conspiracy practices. Conspiring is a subtle work of bodies which from a distance call to each other. One woman calls another, and so on. You touch us. I hope to see soon women creating more affinity communities. Women building clans where multiple generations of grandmothers, mothers and daughters can experiment new educational, social, cultural and spiritual practices. Women's clan which invent the utopia we need so much. Utopia which will re-enchant the world. Thank you, Heide.
Buongiorno, my name is Luisa Vicinelli of the Italian group Le Matriarcali. Heide Göttner-Abendroth's theories literally saved me from a feminist crisis, discovering a social paradigm shaped by life models created by women, with the mother at the beginning and the regenerative power at the center, opened a totally new vision of how a society can be organized. That allowed me to see more clearly my life and the conditionings I received, and even worse, I reproduce in a patriarchal system. At the time, I was feeling caught in equal opportunities paths, far from idea of female freedom. Neither I was able to grasp the materiality of many fascinating feminist theories. I was looking for a social and political dimension which could unite women beyond various feminist currents. Then, in 2005, I met a modern matriarchal studies and the theoretical framework of matriarchal society. Heidi admirably conceptualizes in her book Matriarchal Societies, Study on Indigenous Culture Across the Globe. They allows us not only to recognize these societies, but also to see that we often move to combat patriarchal avatars like racism, capitalism, homophobia, sexism, without catching the truest essence of a social system which cannot meet vital needs and our planet happiness. This important body of works is built on a method which tracks an historical map of who we are. And it helps us to connect to our own strength and read the world using women's wisdom. Some progressive narrations, such as so popular Bhutan's epist country, while evoking social models of widespread well-being in balance with nature, hide nevertheless the importance of women's guiding roles. Right now, women are fighting again to maintain rights we took for granted, and male violence doesn't decrease. We also endure constantly cancellation. In Italy, this is valid mostly for mothers, which, due to the double parenthood law, undergo children abduction in case of splitting from husband. Paternal power is neutralizing mother's right in a short circuit between recurrence to parental alienation syndrome, unconsidered lawsuits in case of domestic family violence, an abusive eating partner, they say, can be a good father, and innumerable interests of social assistance employees. Many women are actively claiming their mother's surname as their own, but I cannot find anything more valid than matriarchal studies research to make us aware again, as women, why, how paternity is born and which family model supports it, because we need alternative form of cohabitation. It is important to illustrate to younger women this new imaginary in order to dismiss the family care of the good father and restore an order centered on mothers and women. This could allow us to take the path outlined by Heide when she spoke in Bologna in 2014. We must claim at least half of the money collected by taxes and spend it according to our values. Heide proposes us to manage again all the aspects of a social organization following a matriarchal logic and show us the vision of viable solutions freed from the nostalgic and exotic imaginary which the word matriarchy evokes in many people. Sharing information is our way, the way we three of the matriarchali chose years ago, to contribute to the social change now truly necessary. We planned launching in spring 2020 a modern matriarchal study school, but its start has been postponed due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Unfortunately, there are still limits to free physical gathering in Italy, so we decided to jump into the virtual world, even if we don't like it very much. My contribution will be to hold the space of matriarchal self-consciousness, to rethink topic as time, space, justice, reciprocity, love, sacred, death, birth, following the path outlined by modern matriarchal studies. We know more and more women are eager and ready. The time is ripe, and actually we, le matriarcali, are a little bit late. Grazie, Heide.
So I'm the last one of the group, cara Heide. I wish to start quoting from your writing A societal system as matriarchy could not function as whole without a deep supporting and all-permeating spiritual attitude. In matriarchies, divinity is immanent, for the whole world is regarded as divine, as feminine divine. In Italy, in the last 20 years, many women's groups who practice spirituality connected to moon cycle, seasonal celebration linked with the Eid festival, have flourished. Women's circles, practicing feminine shamanism, and many red tents, in Italian, tende rosse. Also, 3 goddess temples have been founded. Studies and artistic groups on goddesses and witches are active. Furthermore, many books on women's spirituality and shamanism have been published, and the web is rich of various sites, blogs, Facebook pages. There are films, documentaries. So all of this accelerated the women's spirit rising enunciated by Carol Christ. In Armonie Association, where we 3 met in 2004, and where we started our project Le Matriarcali, the spiritual and political practices in the last 70 years have evolved spiritually. We've been inspired by your Hagia Academy activities. We have created women's circles celebrating rituals and festivals. Thanks to your work on matriarchal spirituality, we have focalized better the concept of female divine and sacred, and we have engaged in honoring the women's blood cycles connected to the moon phases. Overall, we witness in Italy a resurgence of women culture, particularly about her story and spirituality. The various forms of women's spirituality experience emerging in Italy, far removed from traditional patriarchal religion, particularly Christianity, are giving us joy, hope, and faith. Our contribution, as mentioned by Luisa, goes in the direction of spreading the knowledge of different paradigms offered by matriarchal societies, including their symbolism and their spiritual tradition. We keep focusing on utopia, the good place, and we aim to jump into the biophilic era evoked by Mary Daly. I wish to offer you some food for thought on how we can enhance the rise of a culture where all is one, where there is no separation between sacred and secular, as you, Heide, taught us. We remember very well when in 2009, at the first conference in Bologna, you told us how crucial is the cooperation with the movement of indigenous people, particularly with those which still preserve matriarchal patterns. Indigenous women are in the front line in protecting earth rights and in the fight against patriarchy, making central the connection with Mother Nature in our daily life and for our planet is not only urgent, but vital and essential. We, Eurocentric Western women, must further engage in integrating the all-encompassing maternal attitude valued in matriarchal society with care activism for Mother Nature, along with the recovery of ancient women's wisdom. We believe that actively supporting indigenous women who protect their culture, their communities, and their land is pressing. And this is the way we can empower each other to resist patriarchal forces, which are the same everywhere. Like the women of Movimiento de Mujeres Indígenas por el Buen Vivir from Argentina, who march and manifest against terricidio, crime against the earth, nature, and humanity. By the way, the women will be coming to Europe next summer, and we wish to join forces with them. Government and corporation are not focused on finding solutions to climate crisis to improve planet and living being health. Instead, they are putting in place new control systems besides continuing the work plan of natural resource exploitation. And we saw how they address pandemic by pushing only for vaccination without investments in prevention, immune system, and early domiciliary treatment support. My personal and our collective experience shows how spiritual practices can be effective, and I mean beneficial, on health and well-being. This April, a research on spiritual well-being and mental health during COVID pandemic in Italy has been published. It states that spirituality and religious practices are a protective factor connected not only to psychological and mental, but also physical health. We need more and more spiritual practices as healing and transformative paths. Matriarchal society preserve a millenary culture of alternative medicine, which could be a lifesaver for our planet, but instead is under attack and risk of extinction. In Chile and Argentina, for example, native medicine is now recognized and cannot be practiced. Moira Millan of Mujeres Indígenas por el Buen Vivir told us that curanderas and machis are being persecuted. To reach spiritual utopia, the good place, we can only increase the connection to our natural world, emerging in its beauty, also by nourishing back its vital and regenerative forces. From matriarchal indigenous people, we learn how, through their connection to cuerpos, territorios, memorias, body, land, memories, it is possible to do healing and cleaning practices, sanación, they call them. And we also get additional inspiration from Hagia spiritual healing circles. We wish to close, dear Heide, thanking you for your studies, which continue to nourish us and inspire our practices. The way you create communities for research, study, and discussion has been an example and a model which continues to inspire and elicit our commitment to disseminate the gift of your theories. We call in the ancestral forces to join with our strength to support you in your studies. May you live a long and healthy life. May you walk a joyful path. Grazie, Heide. Thank you, Madrina. Many blessings to you.